Some crazy good news today. But before we get to that, let's talk about the bigger crypto picture. We're heading into what may be the largest crypto bull run yet. The right things are happening in the background that is going to cause crypto to pop off like putting a bunch of Mentos in a 2 liter of Coke. Yeah, I know you had a wild childhood. I know you know what that will do. So back to the big news. For that, let's bring on my co-host today. And while I'm bringing him on, make it rain on that like button and strap in for today's show. It's going to be fun. Yo, what is up, Randy?
Oh, it's a lot of stuff. I flashed a couple people today. I got a shot in the butt, and I found out my medicine pairs very nice with whiskey. And the crypto's up. It's a great day. It is a great day to be alive.
Now, I can't believe all these people got to see your flash show for like free. Normally people pay huge bucks or they gotta do massive things to, get in that line. There's so few people. So
yeah, that is
going about their day and got lucky. Some of them may not even know how lucky they were.
I don't think they are. I think they knew me as a different name, Randall Chavez. That's what I went by today.
I love it. So yes, Randy doing a free flash show for some surprised people was not our big news today. What is our big news today, Randy?
Well, there's quite a lot of big news. We have I guess biggest and foremost, we'll start it off with a bang. It is that you are now able to purchase OMI with a credit card. Now you can do it one of two different ways. You can go in and just buy USDC with it, because that's the way that people are normal doing. Their brain is hardwired that way. That's their rhythm. But if you want to skip that step, over on Stacker, and Dr. Profit has a video. I'm not sure he shared it publicly, but I think he will, where he can go on and he uses a Revolut card that connects to his MasterCard. Maybe I should have said that, but anyway, you can do it that way. You can go on and I think Fast Eddie did it as well. He doesn't have a video of it, but it's now a simple, easy step. Currently, there's no set maximum, like, oh yeah, you could purchase like up to X amount of cards. Because if you do buy it on base, be advised, there's only like $200-something thousand worth of liquidity there. So you might only be able to do like 4 or 5K at a time before it really starts to go up. Like I wouldn't recommend trying to do like 30K at once. It either might not go through, or if it does, it's just going to pump it like super hard. And maybe that's what they want. I don't know. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, do it in smaller purchases. There's no reason to try to buy $20,000 at one time. In this, there's not the liquidity for that. So you make like at most like $1,000 buy, and then you wait, and then another $1,000 buy. So I went out and tried it myself, and I was able to buy some more OMI and went right into my Stacker wallet, which was awesome, right on base. So it was cool. It connected up to a Coinbase account, and I was like, sweet, perfect.
Yeah, people were getting normal people were like, huh, this is weird, because you weren't able to actually swap for a little while. There was somebody that I knew that said, hey, they'd been away from the community for a while. I was like, hey, do you I need some money for something. I still have OMI on the app. Do you want to buy it from me? I was like, well normally I would if this is, a year ago, but you could actually swap it, yourself. You can go and do it. And then he's like, hey, I put on, I bridged it from Vivv app to Stacker, but it said it won't let me. And then for like a couple of days, you weren't able to actually swap a couple of things. And people, the fudders were just like, yeah, see, they ran out of money. You're not going to be able to, to do it, which of course is ridiculous. And then obviously the reason for it being down was because they had to add the credit card. Even Stacker just says swapping ETH or USDC for OMI is live again. You could fund your Stacker wallet with ETH or USDC via credit card directly on Stacker.
What's funny is I was thinking about OMI today, and I was thinking about what's going on with Stacker and how the right things are setting up. And yet still some people can't really recognize it for what it is. And I frequently think of this example because like I started asking myself a question in early days, like, how do I get money to work for me? Because I found out I don't like managing people. So like, how can I get my money to work for me? So you're looking in the investment space. I mean, putting your money to work for you. It's in the investment space. So you got to be making it in smart investments, but most people don't know what a smart investment looks like. They think it looks like a guaranteed deal. There are no guaranteed deals, and anyone who's selling you a guaranteed deal, 99.9% chance it's a scam. There are no guaranteed deals. What it looks like is a risk, and then you're doing research to analyze whether it's a smart risk or not. But they don't know how to calculate what a smart risk is. So when I was working with real estate investors, there was this guy, and I was driving with him. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you see that 20 acres where there's a Walmart going in?" It's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "We had the opportunity to buy that like 20 years ago for $30,000. I was like, "Buy that, like the 20 acres?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "How much of it?" "All of it." "For 30,000? "Oh yeah." And he said he would do it like no down payment and interest free. I'm like, "And you guys passed it up?" He's like, "Well, we didn't know there would be a Walmart there." And it's like, "Yeah, but they've had those roads in the plan for forever." Like, "Yeah, but only one of them was paved." I'm like, "One of them was paved? And you didn't do it?" Like, that's what a good deal looks like. And it was like, but he was waiting for some magical guarantee, like the roads all cut in, and then Walmart banging on your door, being like, and then someone to be like, Walmart's offering me, $2 million for this, but let me sell it to you for $30,000 with no down payment. That doesn't happen. He's waiting for something that doesn't happen. So like OMI to me is an amazing chance. Like, is it a risk? It's no guaranteed deal. There are no guaranteed deals. But I mean, I've been watching closely how Vivv's been running for a long time. I remember their pitches back in 2018 when they were launching it. And I've seen where they've come. And I'm like, this is amazing. And once you know it, OMI's price is cheaper than it's been in 3 years. Like, it's really, really cheap. And people are like, "I don't know. The price has only gone down for 3 years. Like, it won't ever go up." And it's like, yeah, like Amazon stock went down for like 7 years straight, generally as a trend. Or is it now? Well, it's way, way up now because they make the assumption that what's been happening is going to continue to happen. It's like crypto boomed in 2021 and OMI boomed with it. And we've been in a bear market since then. And I think because OMI boomed so much, it went like 3,000x, that it's overcorrecting to the downside because it swung too far up. I mean, 3,000x was too much, but it did it. But it's too much. And so it's overcorrecting to the downside. And that's what an opportunity looks and smells like. But most people aren't ready for real opportunities. They're looking for a guaranteed deal, and there is no such thing. And so they'll pass it on it. And then they'll be like, "Oh man, I should have done it." Just like my friend that's like got a story to tell his grandkids about how they could be millionaires today, but they're not.
You were mentioning
Sanjay in the house.
My man. I love my day. You were mentioning before, guarantees, and obviously there are no guarantees, and VCs typically they look like 10 years out. And VCs, when they go in and they say like, "Hey, you're gonna put X amount of dollars, however much you want to put into this, and you won't see any gains or any guarantees of gains for several years, if not like a decade." And out of the 10 projects that you put in, at least half of them go to zero, if not like 60%. Then usually one or two of them will make you won't lose your shirt on. One will kind of make money and maybe a little bit more, and one is just going to blow it out of the water. And that's what you're hoping happens. Sometimes you could do a little better than that and two blow out of the water, and you're really good shoes. Sometimes you wind up losing money. And what I met with had a chat with a VC recently and talked with another one briefly after that. And a lot of these VCs are really looking into crypto now because, one, of the 4-year cycle, two, of the fact that the gains are so big in it, and obviously nothing's guaranteed and a lot of it's really risky. But when you have people that are in the space and can be your Sherpa, they can be your guide to this wonderful universe. They are starting to look at crypto because you don't need to have 1 in 10 go, like 7x to take care of you. You need to have one in maybe like 100 to take care of you, not including the other ones that'll make a little bit of money that doesn't do 100 or 1000x, that can do like even ones that could do like a 4 or 5x. You know, they cover so much more. So there's going to be a lot of money coming in. This is exactly what I saw on Pokemon years ago, where typically what happens is that when people get into Pokemon, they buy what they liked as kids. They buy what they liked when they were younger. And then let's say they just like a particular Pokemon. Let's say they like Charizard. Most everyone likes that. You might want to get base set. You might want to get the Rocket set with Dark Charizard, or you might want to get the Gym Challenge set with the Blaine's Charizard. Whatever you get, usually you get the other stuff around it in that particular set by that particular trainer, first edition, whatever it is. And then people kind of branch out after that. They get what they like, they get what they're familiar with, and then the money goes to Grails. And we'll talk about Grails on Vivv in a second. And I saw that in 2020, when everything I bought in 2018, 2019 had like done a 6x, and nothing went into like trophy cards stayed exactly the same. I was like, oh, I've seen this movie before. Money's going to come here and it's going to flow into here. And I see this in VCs now, where a lot of it's in VCs and some of it's dripping into crypto. Like the dam has cracked, and that crack is only going to get bigger. That water pressure is only going to get stronger. And you have the VCs that are going to go in there. You have obviously, I think that guy, Jack Mallers. You have like the big boys like Michael Saylor and all these big institutions buying, which is still just a fraction of them. There's still super tiny amount. But then you have like the younger people that are getting it as well. I don't want to say I cringe, but there are a lot of I was just watching this guy. He's one of these, I don't want to say warlords, in Niger or in one of these African countries that are rising up, and they're like rejecting like Western influence. They're telling France and all of Europe to like get out. And one of the things that they're doing is they're buying back like their gold mines and their gold deposits. And I was like, oh, bro, if you just like forget the mines, just buy Bitcoin. And I'm not even talking about stuff that's gonna do like 100x or 1000x, just stuff that'll grow a lot faster than gold. I mean, Bitcoin's twice as scarce and worth like 1/10 the amount. So, anyway, I feel like I've gone on for a while.
Most people aren't prepared for what's coming. They're not ready for this. They're not mentally prepared, thinking the right way, and that's okay. We've all missed opportunities. See, crypto, this wasn't my first opportunity. Definitely not the first one I missed, and it's probably because I had missed some opportunities that was more ready for this. I remember, I was in high school, and my friend was showing me like all the stuff that Windows could do. And I had actually had somebody talk to me about Microsoft, and I was pretty good saver as a kid. I had like $500 saved. Boy, that $500 put into Microsoft would have done some good money for me. But I even though I was already thinking about investing, like I didn't know how to do that stuff. Later, when Google IPO'd, I had like 2,500, and I had an E-Trade account. I was going to buy some. And, I read Warren Buffett saying, oh, yeah, these tech stocks and Google is massively overvalued. And I was like, oh, Warren Buffett must know what he's talking about. Though it seems like it's going to do really good. Like everyone's using Gmail and Google. Like, I think it's going to do great, but Warren Buffett must know better. Another missed opportunity. And then, real estate, I had some things go right. And I had some missed opportunities. And you just learn over time through some experience what good deals look like and what they don't. And like everyone's journey into crypto kind of starts with a missed opportunity. And I could have got started in crypto when Bitcoin was like $100. And I was just like, oh, yeah, somebody explained it to me how bad, what it was, and how it came together. I was like, well, it sounds like you could just make as many of these as you want. So there's no scarcity. There's no scarcity, and there's no value. Well, yeah, there's scarcity. He just explained it all wrong. And so I didn't look further into it because I dismissed it until it went to 1,200. And I still waited. And Bitcoin was like at 4,000 before I started paying attention. And I went into Bitcoin first. And then I was like, what are these altcoins? And I started looking at technology, kind of like what you say. People start with something that they know or what they're familiar with. And then they start looking deeper. And then the money flows into that other stuff. And so Bitcoin's getting ready. That dam is getting ready to break. And if it does, there's a lot of big shorts on Bitcoin They're going to get liquidated. It's going to do a short squeeze that pops Bitcoin's price up a lot. And yeah, so I do think the chances are looking greater and greater that we have a super cycle. And a super cycle means it breaks the normal pattern of what it's done. And the normal pattern would keep Bitcoin's max price between 140K to 180K. If it goes more than that, then it's probably going to go a lot more than that, which means 250 to 500,000, maybe more. And if that happens, we're going to have the biggest crypto cycle we've seen yet. And you'll make some good money on Bitcoin, but some of these alts are going to be where a lot of money is made. And so that's why I have all my money in the alts. And OMI is one of my largest bags. I mean, we started this over a year ago when the FUD on OMI was like super high, super tangible. And I've learned like what a good deal looks and smells like. And you know what often is happening when a great deal is present? People are running away from it, like people running out of a burning building. And that's what sentiment was a year ago. Oh my gosh, OMI's dead. Oh my gosh, the team failed. Oh, look, the number of users are down. And guess what? For last year, users down even more. OMI's price has gotten even cheaper. And so people are like, yeah, you said it was cheap a year ago. It's like, it was cheap a year ago. Well, it's even cheaper now. That's true. It is even cheaper now. And you think it's a bad deal. It was a great deal then. It's just an amazing deal now. What don't you get about this? Okay. Just wait to see how this plays out so you can go through the lesson of what an opportunity looks like, and you've missed it. Because you're going to learn a lot from that. So clearly you're not prepared to understand this, and I'm not going to waste my time trying to talk you into it, because if you don't get it, you're not worth my time. I don't get paid anything by you getting it. I don't care if you get it. I want to care, but I don't hardly know you. And even if I did know you, I learned trying to talk. Did Dr. Stuff want to listen in 2020? I gave him a few opportunities to try to talk him into it. I was like, he's not listening. We'll just let him learn the painful way. And he did. Now he gets it. So people that want to FUD on this and stuff, they want to argue. It's like, you're not worth my time. I'm sorry. My patience is so low these days. Let's just watch and wait and see how it plays out. Because I know who's going to win on this. And it's not going to be you. And you're going to learn some great lessons that are important. Because at the end of the day, if you become a really good investor and you learn what a good deal looks, smells, and tastes like, what a great risk looks, smells, and tastes like, you're going to change your life for forever. But part of that journey of learning how to do that is missing some. So go ahead and miss this one. It's all right. Miss it.
So something that I kind of wanted your opinion on when we're talking about money coming in and people not recognizing how big certain things are, Coinbase is added to the S&P 500. And in order to help keep the S&P 500 balanced, a lot of what tracks the S&P 500, like the VOO, the SPY, they have to buy coin. Like they have to buy it. So it went up like 23% today. And so there's a lot of eyes on Coinbase right now. Now, Coinbase did just have an update. I don't know if this was something that's done automatically, where they just get the info from CoinGecko and then it just updates through their algorithms, whatever. Or if it's something where that they're doing consciously, like, oh, hey, we're doing something with OMI. We have to go in and we have to update this ourselves. They go in and update, says the COMI is the issuer of the OMI token. The OMI token is intended for use in the Vivv digital collectibles ecosystem. Over 8 million digital collectibles NFTs sold since the beginning of 2021, and a range of international brands, artists, and IP partners releasing content through the platforms. Vivv is the world's leading mobile-first digital collectible platform. Through an innovative loyalty program, the Vivv Master Collector Program, the OMI token is intended to amplify the collecting experience, and when available, will provide Vivv collectors with a range of unique ways to build and expand their digital collection. So the MCP, the Master Collector Program, is really what they were going, what they updated. We have a update or an interpretation of this from our very own Crypto Cosmo that said that he was listening to an MCADE space the other day and said that they were explaining how Coinbase is updating their app in order to include social experiences with access to apps of various projects that are on Base, which OMI is, along with the ability of buying those Spaces tokens. So he thinks that the Vivv app is going to be available, or something related to Vivv, where you'll have access to buy OMI in the new build out of the Coinbase app. Again, that's his interpretation. I would like to believe he sees things the way I do. In reality, I probably see things the way he does. He went through that and broke it down really well. I'm curious your thoughts on it. Correct interpretation? I think we're being a little too moon boyish, or is that right on the money?
Crypto Cosmos is a pretty smart guy. I've known him for a long time. This analysis is probably really good. When he speaks, I always listen. I've known him for a long time. He was new to crypto. He was one of those I tried to talk to in 2020. Was not ready for it. He's like, okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I got something to do. All right, no worries. Just don't say I didn't tell you. But yeah, he saw how things went in 2021. He's like, okay, I get it now. And he's dove in like for the past 4 years and does so much research. So, and he was always a bright person, but sometimes people hear things wrong and explain the wrong way. So they just have a misinterpretation of how things are. And it takes a wake up moment for them to really put the research in themselves, be like, I get where this is going. And that's him. Like, he's brilliant. Just like Dr. Stuff is brilliant. And so, yeah, he's really smart. I know what he does is his day job. They pay him very well because he's really bright.
Yeah, heckin' love that guy. And again, as more eyes get onto Coinbase, just because they're including the S&P 500, and Base is, I think it's the fastest growing blockchain, or the fastest growing chain that that a lot of people are using. They went from like 0 to like 12 million users like super quickly, and obviously they've grown since that statistic. I think they were the fastest to grow from like 0 to 12 million users, and then obviously since then they've added millions on top of that. And I see it in so many people on X, and this is one of the dozens and dozens of ways that you can measure growth, but the amount of people where that you don't know who they are, they're not doxed, maybe some of their wallets are public on what they might have, but the people whose accounts are just dedicated to Base, and there's multiple ways to go about this. You can go about it with, hey, I'm focusing on these projects that are building on Base because they're doing X, Y, and Z, and they're very legitimate, and they're maybe some are pre-revenue, maybe some are they actually have revenue, and those grow at a phenomenal rate. And there's also ones that say, hey, I focus on the best like meme coins, and I know, again, it's a very strange way that might almost seem esoteric to try to grow and try to interpret, but a lot of the ones that I've seen, like, I don't know a ton of meme coins that are like on ETH right now, or at least new ones that are on ETH. Like daCAT's on there, and that's great. When you're paired with ETH, that's why we're up like 230% over the last month. But a lot of the ones that are coming out are either on Solana or they're on Base. Like, I don't know a ton of prevalent meme coins, or at least fast growth meme coins, that are on these other chains. And I get it, meme coins, like, hey, what do they really do? Most of them, nothing. Most of them are trash. But the fact that that's where the attention is, why not try to siphon off some of that attention? And again, if you're on Base, and this is what I like about SHIRO, Nico, that's they have a bunch of different things that they're on, but the community, and this is something that I wish the Vivv community and OMI community would do, and some of them do, but anytime like Raoul Paul posts, anytime like any of these big accounts posts, the SHIRO community is just out there, and they are just like, hey, have you heard of SHIRO? Hey, blah, blah, blah. And again, Memecoin, and they have stuff going on, and it's great. There's lots of great things about them, but at the end of the day, Memecoin still pre-revenue. You know, some stuff may or may not work out, but you have some of the biggest licenses in the world on Vivv now. That everything is built for us to rock it. There is no reason why any investor worth their salt would look at us and be like, nah, I'm gonna pass. There's no reason, especially now that the lawsuit's over. So what does JFK said, like, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And I feel like a lot of people are always like, hey, Vivv, David, Akomi, why don't you do X, Y, and Z? And I don't see those same people out there. Like Vivv Viral's one of them that's out there working for his bags, and a couple of other people.
Yeah.
What's best to ask from the Akomi community that they could or should do?
Like, at the end of the day, why do people invest in anything? They're hoping for a return. Now, you had an interesting idea that we talked about last week that you're doing with some meme coins, which I really liked. I still don't buy meme coins, but I was like, that actually makes them more than just meme coins. That's actually quite brilliant that you actually add some tangible value to them and Veve. I was like, brilliant idea, Randy. I love that. I love that for both Veve and for those meme coin communities. Amazing. So excited. I'm excited with what you're doing with daCAT. So really cool what you're doing. I did want to shout out one of our viewers here, and they did well on the drop. Where'd it go? The comment. They landed.
Lil Rens.
Yeah, right there. Minted the 77 secret rare Mando today. Dang, brother. Good job. daCAT Studios up 234% on the monthly chart. I still don't buy meme coins, but I do love what they're doing with you. Smart.
Thank you. And so speaking of his minting stuff, or did you get the what could the OMI communities, what could they do? Could they go and raid stuff? I know raiding can sometimes get annoying because there's so much stuff out there.
Well, so I don't get into that. Would I ever do that? No, I don't have the time for that. When I signed up to invest in companies, I did not sign up to like in high school. I wasn't a cheerleader, right? Like cheerleaders go to the games and like donate all their time and effort for free. In fact, they pay for the uniforms and everything just so they can cheer it on. Like I do the show and technically OMI doesn't pay for me, but I do this because I think OMI is a really good buy as an investor. And I want an audience full of savage investors that learn to identify a really good deal and they really do well. So I do this for my audience. Because I think OMI is an amazing deal. And I talk about it and I share with people what I like about it, why I like it. And then they get to make their own informed choice. So I do this selfishly because I want my audience to do as well as possible and learn to become such savage investors so that they invite me to their yacht parties so that, they do really, really well. And I have friends, tons of friends that have tons of wealth. So don't think I'm not a selfish person. I'm a very selfish person. I want all my friends to be rich because selfishly, it'd be way more fun to hang out with them all when they're financially retired because they made a bunch of good investments. Secondly, so am I going to do all this stuff? No. So can I ask the other people to do it? No, but Randy can, because Randy does all this stuff. And Randy, like the raids and stuff, like there are lots of people in the Veve community that are just rabid Veve fans, which is awesome. Part of the reason I really like OMI and Veve is because of that. And I like how cool it is. I found that when things went really crazy in January of 2022 in Veve, I did sell some stuff, but I was like, I'm having a real emotional hang up here. Logically, I should sell everything. But I love my Veve collectibles so much, I'm attached to them. And some things I probably won't ever be able to sell. And that's a good thing for Veve. That's a good thing because the emotional involvement that you get with your digital collectibles. And part of the reason Veve is going to be so massively successful is because the emotional attachment we have to the things that we collect. Some people won't be able to sell anything they ever buy. I had a hard time selling things. I sold some of my Todd's. Boy, that was hard to part with. I sold some other things like, oh man, I sold some Marvel number ones. I sold some Amazing Spider-Mans, but they were selling for Marvel number ones were selling for 600 gems. I was like, and then 700 gems. I was like, okay, sell some more. But it was hard to part with it. So Veve does have such an active community. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are willing to help you out on this. Can I commit my time to it? No, I'm so prissy with my time. I can't. But would other people? I bet you they would.
I understand. I like your line about cheerleading. It reminds me of a line my friend Zenobia said to me. We were talking about just random like sports we did in high school, and she mentioned that one time she went to her dad, says like, "Hey, I think I want to try out for cheerleading," And he told her flat out, like, no, we don't cheer for other people. Other people cheer for us. And I was like, oh, that is such a cold line. So she went out, and I think she did soccer or lacrosse. I know she played soccer, I think, in college before she joined the military. And yeah, I was like, that is so badass.
That's pretty savage.
Yeah.
I like
Lil Renz, you have if you have the number 77, reach out to Clever Jerk. He might buy it because he has the number 1977 Yoda lightsaber, the number 1977 Grogu, and the number 77 Yoda lightsaber. So he likes the number 77. So he may reach out for that.
He may
when you're talking about
offer that'll be hard to turn down, but you're welcome to turn it down if you want to just hold on to it.
So turn it down. The number 2019 Grogu, because that's the year Grogu came out. Comics and Crypto had a bounty out of it of $2,019 and minted for $20. You know, that's a sweet heckin' return. 100x, and the person that minted it turned it down. He's like, "You're not getting my 2019 Grogu," and I was like, "What?"
I would turn it down too, but I'm savage that way. I'd be like, "Oh no, I will sell this when it's like $100,000."
So yeah, there's people that, again, it only takes, and granted, right now, Comics and Crypto is like one of the only people, or they're one of the only groups of people that does those mint hunters and those bounties. And right now it's, I don't want to say easy to turn down. It's easier to turn down when there's only one person. But when you have like 2 or 3 whales, and that's all it takes. You don't need to have hundreds of thousands of people on here. You just need a couple of whales to be like, I'll give you 2,500 for it. And how long, how long can you resist?
Really is a good offer by Comics and Crypto. For where the market is now, it is a strong offer. Like, most people would take that kind of deal. So like, they 100x.
They are, and I understood it a little bit because sealed product. That's what they kind of started in. Sealed video games, sealed movies, sealed all this stuff. And I was like, hey, I ran into sealed product in Pokemon. I get it. I understand. Sealed product, it's very limited. It's the amount of sealed product only going to ever go down. But it wasn't until today when I learned that the U.S., at least on the U.S. and Netflix, they're editing certain things. Like, have you ever seen the movie Braveheart? Or no, sorry, Braveheart. Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie, the original series or the original movie and on VHS, it shows a quote, and it says something like, when tyranny becomes law, the resistors make their place in history. And they took that out on the Netflix version on US. So they're digitally erasing history. And I was like, this is why Comics and Crypto, like, oh my God, I get it. Because like, you can't erase stuff that's on your VHS. They could, and they only did it in America too. Like, they knew that, like, the French and Italy, they didn't bother erasing that quote that's on there in the first 10 seconds of the movie in Europe. They only did it in America. And I was like,
they did it during the Biden administration? ?
I don't know. Maybe. After
working with the Obamas? That's interesting.
It's very possible.
I'm sure total coincidence. I don't know why they would want to take a quote like that out, because who would that offend? Not me. Who would that offend? People who make laws, but which ones? Interesting.
Very, very crazy. The so yeah, talking about what we do for our community. I was talking with Mr. MC1 about this yesterday, 2 days ago, and because he invested in my channel, he owns 10%, and I think he's actually gotten most of that back now, especially because he got a Definity, a couple times, pretty low, and now that's done very well. And then he also just texted me, says, I bought daCAT on your channel 5 days ago. It's up 68%, so close to 69. He's very happy, and I told him, I was like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing here, and we might do another deal for more of my channel at some point, because I go live now usually twice a day, and I haven't had a week where I've gone below like 8 hours of streaming, like on a day in like 3 weeks, where there's at least one day during the week where I'm live for like 8 hours.
No wonder your back is killing you. Damn. It's all explained right there.
And I'm in spaces like 3 times a day. And granted, I'm in space, and there's a lot of companies that sponsor the channel. It's DEVVE, whether it's daCAT, SHIRO, and I talk about all of them. But in a space that I was in earlier with these like space penguin people, and they sound great. They'll be great in the comic. I was like, hey, listen, I own the daCAT IP, and I go through that, and I say, like, one of the best opportunities that we have is that we're going to be on the largest digital collectibles platform in the world, and I go over all their licenses, and it's again, you don't need to get, even communities that have like 2,000 people. Get like 20 of them to be like, okay, what is Vivv? Could we get on there? And yes, they can. I am the person writing the Ladies on Soul comic. I'm the one that's writing the comics for Chaos on the Chains and Crappy Bird and Sharby, and that is my new unofficial job with Vivv. I am going to get thousands of people on Vivv with that. And if you're on the fence of thinking about, like, you know what, I want to start a channel, but there's so many awesome people here. Talk about what you want. Talk about what you specialize in. Talk about what you know. I did an episode of that in Hey Arnold, where Mr. Green runs for like congressman or mayor, or city councilman, whatever, and he's trying to talk to this like John Kerry type of person that's winning, and he can't beat him in the political arena. So he talks about me. He's like, I'm not going to tenderize a pork chop for 2 minutes and call it filet mignon, and I'm not going to put a board over a pothole and call it fixed. He talks about what he knows. And if people go on and they do that, again, I'm not going to resonate with everyone. Rain's not going to resonate with everyone, but you might resonate with people that we don't know. And I guarantee, like, I don't even need to say this. People that are on the fence, once they see our channels grow, and you add a 0 to the amount of subscribers, the amount of viewers that are here, they're going to do it anyway. But before, like, obviously that's going to happen regardless. What are some things that Vivv and the Comey should do before that narrative hits? This is a big thing. I talked to Millie about before.
Well, I hope they're making like a Vivv signal, part 2 of that, like a Vivv sign to send people, because you're going to see a whole new wave of creators creating Vivv content when OMI and Vivv go crazy again, and they will. And you'll see a wave of people. That gives them the impetus, because people like to join what they feel is a winning team. And during a bull market, you saw that in 2021, right? People could recognize this is massive IP. Digital collectibles are a big thing. And you saw a wave of new creators coming in, creating content for free. So I hope Vivv, one of the smartest moves they made in 2021 was making those Vivv signs. Although I didn't get one. I was the second person in the world to cover Vivv. And the only one that's still covering Vivv. They never sent me one. And I'm not bitter about that at all. Maybe a little bit. But I didn't exclusively cover Vivv. And they mostly sent it to people that exclusively covered Vivv. And really good move on their part, because it just like made them feel embraced by Vivv. And I think it kept them going for far longer. Now, most of those people died off during the bear market. Why? Because bear markets are hard, and most people were unprepared for how hard they were. And they just wither away because it feels like it's pointless. And I've seen this with crypto YouTubers. Guess what? 2017, a whole new wave of crypto YouTubers. And then most of them weren't around by 2021. If they were still around 2021, their channels went much, much bigger, but a whole new wave of crypto YouTubers in 2021. Most of them has since gone away. If they still are around in 2025, their channels are going to go much, much bigger. So if you're considering making a channel, you like talking about what you're passionate about, yeah, be prepared to be a good wave to dial into. And Vivv, look, if I would have dialed in on Vivv, I could have a bigger channel. My goal, though, for the first 5 years was to get my channel big enough that I could get access to the teams, like the decision makers in the team, so that I could make better, smarter investments. So my channel has helped me, right? We've had David, you on the channel. We've had lots of really good people on. We had Ben on, like we've had great people on, and I get way better information because I have a channel and I share that with my audience. So we kind of accomplish it together. My goal was not to have the biggest YouTube channel. The biggest YouTube channel you get by talking about things that are really, really high. So anyway, if you're trying to go a big channel, like I think Vivv is covering Vivv is like now is like covering Pokemon before Pokemon cards really went huge. And so you'll be getting on, preparing your surfboard, getting it moving the right direction, right as the wave starts coming. And that wave is going to come. I don't know if it's in a month, 2 months, 5 months, but it's coming. And it's going to be really big when it hits. So good idea from Randy's part. Like if you're passionate about Vivv, and I know a lot of you are, why not talk about what you're passionate about? Because you could start part-time. And if your channel gets big enough, number one, you will learn amazing skills. I got way better at talking, having to talk in front of a camera and everything. At the time, I was negotiating deals for a company, negotiating real estate deals. And I would have a couple meetings a day maybe and everything. But my talking skills were actually kind of falling off because I didn't have to do all that much talking all that much. I just had to negotiate really good deals sometimes. And 1, 2, 3, 4 good deals a month. It was a really good month. And so like, starting the channel, if you watch my early videos, I was not very good at talking. So it does sharpen a lot of your skills. If you're really good at this, you could make a lot of revenues as it grows. You know, I'm really picky on my sponsor because of what my channel is set up by. Most of you don't have to be so picky with what you do. So you could take sponsor from different offers that come your way. And, you know, why not? Is Vivv cool? I think it's amazing. I think what they're doing is amazing. I think this is, I wouldn't say a once in a lifetime opportunity because you'll get a few opportunities in your life. But this is not one to pass up on.
And there's also bragging rights. Like I remember in like our first or second week of basic training where we got our Air Force, we got our military uniforms. And Sergeant Hechtel, remember his name, they're like, now that you're wearing this uniform, you have to act like it. Because do you think any civilian would be able to tell the difference between me and you? And differences in stripes. But like, no, you know, military man. Like, no, it's like they won't be able to. And the parallel I'm trying to draw is that if you start making videos about Vivv and OMI now, in 5 years, you'll be able to say like, yeah, I was around the time back in the day before we mooned with Randy Chavez or Crypto Rain. You know, we all started together. Tell that little white lie. We might have started a few years beforehand, but yeah, we were all kind of in the trenches together. And you don't have to be around for that long. You don't have to you don't have to go live every day for multiple hours a day like I do. One of the things that I do wish that they would fix though is at least for Vivv on their side is the marketing. I was talking with O'Malley before, and I understand not marketing right now while the limelight is not on NFTs. It's very smart that they're doing that, even though people want us to. But back in the day, you had everyone like Disney tweeted about us, and ESPN even showed us on their on like live TV. And I think that at some point, and maybe they have these deals. They're like, hey, we'll let you know, we'll give you that green light when you can go on market for us again. But marketing's been fairly lacking. Granted, again, I know why. When you had Blackpink last year,
it would be terrible to run marketing right now. It'd just be like lighting money on fire, hoping someone notices.
Yeah, Blackpink they have 50 million followers, like each minimum on Instagram. They tweeted about us last year, all 4 of them, and it kind of didn't do anything. So I understand no marketing right now, but roadmaps I think are nice even without firm dates. What about you? What do you think some of the things that they should do before the bull market?
I think they should get those signs ready, designed and ready and already made so they can, because they're going to need them. They don't need them. Brilliant idea. Run that idea again. Yeah. Secondly, get some marketing ready, some ideas ready to run. So funny enough, like I remember NBA Top Shots. So these are kind of NFT moments that are video moments of basketball plays. So kind of like basketball cards, but on the blockchain, but not just cards, because you could use video for like a whole moment. So not just a picture of the slam dunk, but the actual video of the slam dunk. Brilliant idea, right? Dapper Labs did NBA Top Shots, and 2020, they couldn't get traction to save their life. They're like trying to offer small YouTube channels, hey, we'll give you 10 packs for free if you cover us for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And they got some, that's where I learned about it, some obscure channel that had like 900 subscribers and was covering it. I was like, oh, interesting, NBA Top Shots. I was like, I think this will be a really big deal. So I bought a bunch of NBA Top Shots. And you know what? They didn't do anything for a while. Like the price, I bought a LeBron James, like rare LeBron James, and there was only like 1,200 of them or less for $58. I was like, oh, it seems like undervalued to me. And I don't know basketball that well, but LeBron James, I know about him. I bought some common packs and some other things and some rare packs. Come March of 2021, it went crazy. And they turned on marketing for 1 week. And then they shut off the marketing because they had so many new people coming in, it crashed their servers. And they didn't have to do any marketing. And they just went crazy for a long time after that, selling out every drop for a long time after that with no new marketing. So, like, did marketing help them? They only ran it for a week. They ran it for a week during the right time, and it just amplified everything. So is marketing helpful? Like I hear all the time people say about their crypto project, you need to do marketing. What they're really saying is, I don't know what you should do, so burn a bunch of money and I hope it works. So they're just like, I need number to go up so I feel better. Terrible idea. That's like letting your 3-year-old drive the car, please. Total bad marketing idea. It's like lighting money on fire, hoping people will notice. Don't do that right now. Wait till everyone's focused on crypto if you even need to do it. Because my guess is Vivv is a big enough deal that even if they don't do marketing, all these people are going to do marketing for them. NBA Top Shots, guess what? All the NBA players were talking about how the moments that they bought of them and their friends when they're cheaper going up. That $58 LeBron James went to like $22,000. I was like, what the hell? I just bought it 7 months ago. Oh my gosh. Why didn't I buy like 100 of these? Oh man. I didn't know how crazy they would go.
I don't know what is likely more, I don't want to say mainstream, but mainstream, at least in the crypto NFT verse, whether it's Cryptopunks or Bored Apes. But right now I'll just do a Cryptopunks and I'll Google them on OpenSea. And the floor on it is 47.99 ETH. So let's round it down to 48 ETH. And there are, let's say we reached 2,700 a day on ETH, but let's say 2,650. That's $127,000 for a CryptoPunk. Now, granted, that is one of the first NFTs out there. That is one of the most popular NFTs in the world. But take it outside of crypto. Does anyone here's dad know what a CryptoPunk is? Probably not, unless you're like super young, unless you're one of those people that are like 18 to like 25, and maybe your dad's 45 or whatever. And maybe.
Yeah. If your dad's over the age of 60, most likely no.
No. Grogu right now, and granted, Grogu has only been around for about 6 years, but Star Wars in general been around. That is 1/10 of an ETH. That is less than 1/10 of an ETH. And so the CryptoPunk that nobody in the world really knows what that is 480x the price of a Grogu that's 1 of 1,000. And I think CryptoPunks are like 1 out of 10,000. CryptoPunks might be less. I know that I forget when the 10,000 PFP project have happened. But either way, I know there's more CryptoPunks than there are Grogus. And again, 1 of 1,000 at 1, and CryptoPunks is 480x that price. And the reason I bring this up, because this is the first drop in a while where a Grail's done like a 3x. And I don't want to say Grail, it's a new blue chip. I wouldn't consider anything a Grail. I know Secret Rare Spider-Man and Partner Statues, these are all future Grails, because anything under $10,000, if you're coming in from any other collector's any other collection, doesn't really seem like a Grail. Whether it's a sports cards or whether it's Pokemon, comic books, it's not really a Grail if it's like, you know, $1,000. It's a Grail if it's 10,000 or more, and I believe Grogu will be one of those. What are your thoughts on that? I know you don't typically go for too many drops anymore because crypto tends to be a little bit of a better price. But did you go for Grogu?
No, I didn't go for it. I'm surprised that it went 4x right off the bat. Unusual in this market. Is it smart? Well, yeah, it was a smart one to get it. And if I had really thought about it, I would have gone for Grogu. Why? He's so likable. He's so amazing. It's one of their biggest marketing successes in the last forever. Why? Grogu is so freaking cool. So do I think he's Grail in the future? Probably. There's only 1,000 of them. There's not that many of his regular ones either. How many is there? 5,000 total or something?
3,000 of the regular, which means 2,969, because out of 3,019 goes down to 2,969, and then out of 1,019 it goes to 969.
So thank you to whoever just sold me theirs on the market, because I bought one for 14 gems instead of 20. So thank you to them. I appreciate it. Why? Because I don't want to not have a Grogu. Will I pick up a Grogu and Pram? A lot of times things spike up like this, and then people get like ADHD. They're like, oh, some other drop will come out, and so the price will usually come back down. Is it still a good deal at the price it's at? Yes. Is it an amazing deal? Maybe. It might even be an amazing deal. An amazing deal is something that has like 100x potential. I think long-term, Grogu is like a home run. Was it doing the short term? Probably pull back from here. Historically, I'd give it an 80% chance it pulls back from here. Maybe it doesn't. They're really only 1,000, but a lot of the Veve collectors like are in fall asleep mode, which is normal at this point. Like before altcoins and the momentum is really hit, like most people go to sleep and they just pass up on the really, really great deals. So Grogu in Pram on the drop was an amazing deal. And darn it, it's gone like, it was up 4x from there. It's at 3x now, 3.5x. It's a good deal, like, and possibly a great deal. We'll see.
Only a 3x. And here's what I love about these types of things. It's, again, a lot of crypto people typically, they don't see things in dollars, they see things in ETH. And Cryptopunks, 48 ETH is a lot. Like when something is like 10 ETH, manageable to some people. And they don't see things in dollars. But if you have somebody with a little bit of foresight, say like, what's the first appearance on the blockchain of one of 3 characters that we know that are of Yoda's race. There's Yoda, there's Yaddle, and there's Grogu. And that's it. It's not like a Hobbit where there's 10,000 or men in Lord of the Rings. It's not like there's 10,000 of these freaking things like stormtroopers. There's one of 3. That's the only versions of the species that we know, and he's 1/10 of an ETH, less than that. They're gonna load up. And one of the things that I was kind of salty about let's say certain things in Marvel, where you have She-Hulk, and the person that they got is beautiful. I love older women, and now I'm getting to the point where the older women are around my age. You know, she's like 37, and again, she's great, she's beautiful. I love her. But how long can she play She-Hulk for? Like maybe a decade before she kind of ages out. I like it when they cast younger people because they can play that character for 10 or 20 years, and they don't have to do the James Bond or Doctor Who thing where they have to retell these stories, the same stories like Batman, like every couple of years, because the characters age out. Yoda was like 900 years old when he died. Grogu is 55. Disney can make that movies with that same character for 200 centuries. Yeah. They don't have to change. You came to that conclusion right now.
Yeah, and 8 centuries from now, they can just retcon it, right? And just like, oh, wait, we're showing you what he was like back when he was young.
Yeah, they have 8 centuries left to age this character up. He's not going to reach his prime for another 50-something years. And that's when he could be like, that's when Yoda apparently reached his prime, like 100, I guess 1 to 300. And then after that, again, he was still able to do his thing at like 700 something years old in the prequels before the sequels and all that. But Yeah, crazy times.
What's up, fun under the sun? Good to see you. I hear this a lot. You know, if any kind of NFT narrative hits at all, it's only a matter of time. Vivv gets discovered and more users. You're right. That's only a matter of time. A lot of people question whether the NFT narrative will hit, and yes, it is going to hit. Why? There's this awakening that goes as money goes into Bitcoin. And all of a sudden, substance, at first, substance isn't important. It goes into Bitcoin, sometimes meme coins, because it's just dumb money coming into space. They don't know what crypto is. And then all of a sudden, they start paying closer attention and going through this research phase. And then they start looking for substance. And NFT, especially digital collectibles, like this narrative is one of the home runs. Why? Because digital collectibles are superior in most ways over physical collectibles. Now, physical collectibles are superior in the way that you can touch them, you can hold them, you can feel them. And that's a good and bad thing. They're superior in the other way in that, you know, sometimes they accidentally get like dropped and damaged and everything, whereas your digital collectible won't ever get dropped and damaged. However, some of these are lost. There's people that have Vivv accounts, they'll never get access to them again. They lost all their information. They'll forget about it. They've maybe even died. And like those are gone, because nobody will then have access to them. And so like, yeah, they do become more scarce over time too, the digital ones, but not in the same way physical collectibles do. But other than those two ways, digital collectibles are superior in every other way, because if you've ever sold a physical collectible, you often first have to get it shipped off and graded, which is expensive and a pain in the butt. Then you got to like market it as graded and everything. And they're trying to verify if you're really legit or did you fake the grading and everything. And then they got to hope that you send it to them and not some scammer. So there's different safety mechanisms like using third parties and stuff. And it's just such a pain. All they have to do is go on the Vivv marketplace. It could be anywhere in the world, and they can buy a legitimate Vivv digital collectible like that. And the amount of transaction fees is so little. And so when you go to sell it, you have access to an instantaneous liquid marketplace that if you put that at the right price, it will go within a matter of minutes. You can't do that with a physical collectible. Even if you marked it like, sure, if you're super dialed in, you know everybody because you put years and years and years of research into this. You have something worth something and you say, hey, I'm going to discount it at half price. Will you buy it? Sure, you probably know some people, but this gives access to everyone who's interested in this, that they can just discount it 20% below the floor and it will sell instantaneously. And they don't have to know thousands of good contacts in order to make that happen. That's amazing. Number two, you can use them on your phone and you can do the augmented reality thing. Like Dr. Stuff plays with his kids, freaking love it. And I think that gets even more adapted over time. So I think some of these things are going to get more used in augmented reality in the future. It's hard to imagine what it's going to look like 20 years down the road, but think about that guy who passed up buying the land. Oh, it's just land. I mean, there's only one road going to it. He didn't realize one road was a really big deal. The other one was cut in. It was dirt. It wasn't really maintained very well, but it was still there. That was the location of the road. That's a really big deal. He just didn't realize it was. So these licenses on Vivv are a really big deal. They're some of the biggest deals in the world. These are the digital versions of them in high quality. It can be used in augmented reality right now, and augmented reality is just in its early stages. So these limited editions of such big IP is a really big fucking deal over time. Some people just aren't ready to see it, and that's okay. Like, they're going to have missed out. Oh my gosh, I could have bought this, but I didn't. Sorry, guys. I'm still working 3-day jobs. I guess I haven't been lucky. It's like luck. What does luck have to do with it? No, you had opportunity, but like luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So you had the opportunities, you hadn't put in the preparation to understand what a good deal looks and smells like. And that's not that you didn't have luck. I mean, kind of. You just weren't prepared and you didn't take the time to be prepared. That's okay. But most of the people here, they're either acting on it or they're not. And so they'll realize it like after they go through this. Now, some of this audience and some of your audience was there in 2021 before January of 2022 happened, right? And so they've seen this cycle before. They saw, like, I know some of my audience I covered. It's so funny because I lost half my audience over covering Vivv. Literally, they revolted because I've been covering Cardano and Cardano was going great. And what a lot of people forget, I'm trying to teach people how to be investors, not to cheerlead what's already done great. And I covered this thing called Vivv because I thought this digital collectible of Batman, the first one on the blockchain, was a really big deal. And I got all kinds of comments like, get back to covering effing crypto, like real crypto, not this shit stuff. And they were pissed that I was covering Vivv. I was like, I think you missed the part where I cover things that are massively undervalued. And I think this Todd McFarlane Batman for $80 is a really big deal. Whatever. You don't know what you're talking about. Who cares about you could just make more of those. Like, okay. Who ended up being right? Well, Todd McFarlane Batman peaked in January of 2022 for 200x what you could have bought for. Peaked for over $16,000. How did it do? It was a great investment. Were they prepared to recognize it? No. Like, I was buying Cardano at 3 cents and 5 cents and 7 cents and 11 cents. And it was trading at that time for like 35 cents, 40 cents. So was it a good deal? Yeah, it was still a good deal. It just wasn't an amazing deal. Todd McFarlane Batman for 80 gems was an amazing deal. So it peaked, went up, it's come back down. It's a really good deal again. Is it an amazing deal? I don't know. I don't know what peaks at, but it's a really good deal right now. Maybe even an amazing deal. Grogu, really big deal. So like the secret rare price now, I don't know. Sometimes they take off and they come back down. Is it worth getting? Probably the Grogu and Prem, and definitely the Grogu one. I just bought a second one. I was like, what the hell am I doing? Grogu, like for selling below its launch price. Yeah. But I was one of those crazy people that thought the Marvel #1 common was a really big deal when it was selling for 3 gems after people had just paid 7 gems for them. And I was like scooping them up at 3 gems and I kept sweeping the floor. And I did that for like a week and then I forgot. I forgot to keep sweeping the floor. Anyway. Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. MC1 saying we do the cat giveaway. Sure. Sally Field, as the voice of a cat, once said, take it off, take it all off. If you can name that cat, we will do I will give you a small piece of the cat token. Again, Sally Field had voiced the character, and if you can name what the cat's character's name is, I'll give you a little small piece of the cat. Anywho, thank you to everyone that's been joining. It's been very, very pleasant so far. Rain, as far as we gonna see you in Lisbon? In Lisbon?
No. Doctor Stuff is going out. Cosmo's going out. I will not be going out. They'll fill me in on everything. Am I a little bit jealous? Yeah, all that time with Dr. Profit. And if Sanjay's going to be there, damn. And all that time with not tons of the Vivv community will be there. So you might get way more time with David and Dan than you would normally get. It's going to be a good deal. I'm not chances are very unlikely that I'll be there.
Yeah. Shout out to Arcturus. Arcturus, you did win the daCAT giveaway. So message me your a daCAT wallet address and we'll go and get that bread.
I love it. He's so up to date on Vivv stuff like all the time. I love it.
Yeah, he's great. So you are not going to Lisbon. You are going to San Diego, correct?
Yes, 100%. Probably be bringing the missus, so the party is on. She's fun. If you haven't met her, she is freaking cool.
Be like Kesha.
She joined us on the show before. Like most of the people have seen her. She's fun. Cool girl.
The party don't start till I walk in. Gotta love Kesha. She's great. She'd make a great cosplay as Kesha because she's blonde like her.
Yeah. You could have her appear in some of the comics. She'd love it.
We could do that. She could be either part of the Ladies on Soul, or she could be part of the. It wouldn't be until at least the third daCAT comic because the first two are already written. But yeah, we will talk. We will get that written. If Greg White can get Ice-T's wife in a comic, then I can get your wife in a comic.
That'd be awesome.
Forget Ice-T's wife. I think it's Coco Tea. Oh God, that's so great. Iced Coco Tea.
So funny.
So yeah, they sent out an email to level 100s the other day talking about, hey, if you're going to be in London on this time, you can come to dinner with David. You'll get X, Y, and Z for this, and obviously spend time with David. You just mentioned, hey, there's not going to be a ton of people in Lisbon, at least as there would be in America, so you might get more time with David. If you were just learning about Vivv over the last couple of weeks, you did a deep dive in, but you've never been to an event, you've never really gotten to speak to David, but you've seen a couple of his interviews, how valuable would that time be for even just like 10 minutes? Like how much, if you're just an investor that is looking in from the outside, how much do you think is an appropriate amount that someone would pay for 10 minutes with David?
Well, so think about the people that are level 100 already. They most likely they put several $100,000 into the app. So these are people that no one recognized a good deal because they have in their life. Because how else would they have that kind of money to put in? So they've had some things go well for them in their life. And so for them, they probably have more funds to the side. So for them, it's a particularly good 10 minutes so that they can learn what's going on in this. Because my guess is they have the conversation with them and they're like, man, I knew Vivv was a big deal, but it's even bigger than I realized. What am I doing? And then they deploy a whole bunch more. For somebody that has not taken a lot of opportunities and stuff, and they're just new at this, they would enjoy the conversation with David and Dan. They probably waste the time with questions like that are inconsequential because they don't know yet. They're just new at this journey, right? So you're always like, when you're a new investor, it's just part of being new. When you've had massive successes, so those who are new in crypto investing and investing in general, because one of the things about crypto is it brings in all kinds of people, no investing experience whatsoever. So right now they're just newbies and they're learning, and some learn faster than others, but 20 years down the road, you're going to ask very different questions than you're asking now in your life. So a lot of these people that are like, that have this kind of money, that they're level 100s already, they're 20 years plus into their investing journey. They ask really good questions because they know how to sort and sift and what's a good deal and what's bullshit. And so they'll ask really good questions and they know how to recognize really amazing things when they see it. So it'd be very useful to them, very useful. I know, we have a mutual friend that went to one of those previous ones and he was sharing with us what he learned. It's like, yeah, he came back super excited. He's like, oh my gosh, yes, Vivv is going to be such a big deal. And it's like, yes, it is. I should put more money into it. I won't tell you what to do, but Vivv is amazing,
Very good. I have, I wouldn't know what to charge for somebody else for that. Again, not that I would charge anything or take a commission, but I do try to, and that's what I love doing. I love connecting people because I feel like, one, it's good to help build out the space, and even stuff that I know. There's that quote, I forget what it's about. You don't plant a tree because you know you're going to sit in its shade the next day. You plant a tree for the future and future generations. And certain things that I do, I don't do certain networking because I know it's going to be an immediate payoff or even a payoff at all. It's just good for the space. And things that are good for the space, like people were talking about Sui and Pokemon. And I hope that Pokemon and I like, this is going to be their first foray into Web3. And people say, well, we don't hope that is going to be with Vivv. And it's like, well, I expect Pokemon to go on Vivv at some point, but what Sui's doing is they're taking something of Pokemon's that they're Pokemon home medals, which are hyperinflationary. Free accounts can get 32 medals by themselves. If you pay for an account, like a premium account, you can get like 1,000 medals. So these things aren't scarce. They're not digital collectibles, and they're not even figures of it. There's these little medals that have pictures of the Pokemon on it. And if that is what's happening, if they are on the blockchain, if those are going to be the NFTs, I hope it happens, because that's going to get Pokemon and Nintendo comfortable. And I'll let you guys know, maybe a little bit of the combination of meds and the whiskey talking. I've connected David with multiple CEOs of these multiple companies, and half of them work out, but half of them are just scared of Web3. And if you have companies that are, it's why only Coinbase matters as far as exchanges. Are KuCoin, Kraken, Crypto.com, are these things like, are they great to get? Yeah, I think they're better to have them than not have them. But once Coinbase gets a hold of OMI, and once OMI lists on Coinbase, it's only a matter of time. Mm-hmm. Could be next month, sure. Could it be 7 months from now? Also sure. Eventually, Coinbase, when this runs, will list OMI, regardless if there's a partnership or not. And once that happens, you know that these other smaller companies are going to want to list the token. In the same way that you could have these companies that, yeah, they might have, tens of millions of followers, or they might have 100 million, followers, but they might be scared of Web3 until Pokemon and Nintendo get in, and suddenly they're going to get FOMO. They're going to think that they missed the boat, and they're going to be like, okay, now we got to get into Web3. Who's the best company with the most licenses that's been around for the longest? And that's Vivv. All roads are going to lead to Vivv at some point. I don't know what the point of that was. I just felt it needed to be said.
Well, like going back to that land idea, people don't recognize a good deal. So imagine the owners of that land said, well, there's only one road paved to it. Come talk to me when there's another road paved to it. And what they don't get is, do you think when the other road is all paved, it's going to be at that same price? Because it isn't. It's no longer, they're not going to have the option to buy for $30,000 on payments with no interest. That deal was amazing to begin with, but they didn't even know how to recognize an amazing deal when it was right in front of their face. It was an amazing deal. What they're saying is, come talk to me later when it's farther down the road. And what they don't realize is when it's that becomes more sure, the price isn't the same. They might have come back to them then and said, you know what? Price now is $100,000. I need $20,000 down. They're like, what? Are you kidding me? That down payment is almost more than what you asked to begin with. And it's like, yeah, but that was then. Now it's even closer. Like the price is, I could sell this to someone else for $100,000 with those payments, but you're a friend. I'll give you this chance for you. And they don't get that, right? So they're like, oh yeah, well, come talk to me when it's on Coinbase. Okay. When it's on Coinbase, do you think the price of OMI is going to be this price? It's not going to be. Do you think when everyone's like FOMOing in, the price is going to be anywhere near? No, this is what a good deal looks and smells like, people running out of a burning building. That's what OMI's price looks like right now. So if you're looking around and seeing everyone running from what they think is a burning building, you are. Cool. That's when it's a great deal. That's what, if you look to the left of the charts, when Bitcoin hit $3,200 back in after the 2017 bull run, and then it came down like in 2018, I think it might have been 2018 or 2019, came down to $3,200. Guess what? It felt like everyone was running from a burning building. Yeah, that's what it felt like. And yet everyone's like, Bitcoin, what are you talking about? It's just going to go down. Yeah, that's not what happened. People just aren't prepared to take advantage of a good opportunity. They just don't know what they don't know. And some will never put in the time and effort to become good at this. Some of you will. You'll learn tons from this. A lot of you are going to learn from it because you've actually taken some risks. It's going to probably go really well for you. And then others are going to be like, whatever, Rain doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, all right, maybe I don't. We'll see how this goes. We're going to see who's right.
Right. Are you superstitious at all?
Very mildly.
Okay.
I believe that what goes around comes around. I do believe that you can attract things into your life. I can't say I fully understand it, but it works. But beyond that, like ghosts and stuff, yeah, I believe we have a soul. I have a body, but what type of superstitions?
The reason I ask is because the day that the Pope was elected or voted in, crypto started running. So people started speculating like, he blessed our bags. He did it. And then like the other day, he prayed for X amount of time to have a miracle of global peace, and then suddenly Russia and Ukraine are like, yeah, we'll sit down for a meeting with President Trump, and then India and Pakistan signed this like ceasefire, and it's clear that I don't know if they're going to be called miracles or not, but it's clear that, and maybe it's not, maybe it's just logic, and it's beyond my understanding that something greater is at work here, and the math on a lot of these things are too perfect. I don't know if you look at Plan B, not the sexy time drug, but the YouTuber where he goes in and he talks about Bitcoin stock to flow model and relative strength index.
Did you just call it the sexy time drug for the Plan B pill?
Morning after pill, yeah, whatever.
Yes,
the backer to rubber. Plan B goes in and he had a video like 2 days ago, and he said that based on the RSI and stock to flow model, blah, 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 it's that every time the colors go from like red to yellow to green to blue, like it goes up about 5 panels. And when it went from 1,000 to 10,000, the 5 panels were every 1,000, from 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, etc. When it went from 10,000 to 100,000, the 5 panels was from 10,000 up to 50,000. And now he's just like, it's about to do it again, and the panels are going to go from 100,000 to 500,000. And again, a lot of this woo-woo math that I don't necessarily 100% understand, but I recognize patterns. And every other time it's done greater than that. You've had a little bit, instead of going like 8 panels, it'll go like 6, and then 5. And this one, even if it goes 3 panels and it goes to 400K, like what, I don't know what that's going to do to alts. I don't know what it's going to do to a bunch of this stuff when you have Bitcoin doing like a 4x from here. I just want to know like your thoughts on that. Is it all math? Is there something special at work here? What's going on?
What's funny is their price prediction shouldn't work at all. Like charting shouldn't follow any patterns at all. And the reason it does is because psychological behavior follows certain patterns. So that's why charts shouldn't work, but they do. And they do, like, they give you probabilities. And the reason there's some probabilities is based on people behavior. And what's crazy is big green candles attract FOMO, which create bigger green candles, and especially on something that like is scarce and limited supply, like Bitcoin. And I do think as we get this next wave of adoption, because institutional money will be able to come in a much bigger extent than was ever possible before, that not only will we see retail people FOMOing in, but we'll see institutional FOMO. We'll see boards demanding that their companies put Bitcoin on their books, and we'll probably see an overpump. If we see an overpump, you're going to watch companies like MicroStrategy's taking out leverage to buy Bitcoin. You think this is a good thing, and it is and it isn't. It's a great thing when you want Bitcoin's price to pump, because it's going to cause Bitcoin price to pump more than it should. But probably, just like you saw Celsius collapse, which caused Voyager to collapse, like the people that Celsius was lending to was similar to the people Voyager was lending to. And then like people were then taking that money and then risky lend, and they were paying Celsius and Voyager a return on it. And those people got liquidated, and then they weren't able to pay Celsius back, weren't able to pay Voyager back. You're going to see some companies follow MicroStrategy's lead, and it will feel like Bitcoin will never stop going up. And it will. And when it comes down, some of those companies are going to get liquidated. So Bitcoin, if it goes to 500,000, it will probably pull back severely into under 100,000, because it pumped up too much. People started operating on leverage, and leverage is a bad thing. And so it makes it riskier that when it crashes harder. And then you'll see some companies liquidated. And, so I think we'll have a massive bull run coming up, because people are doing this leverage, and it's going to cause it to pump too much. And that is a bad thing for people that aren't planning on that. And so it'll pump too much, and then it will crash too much. And that's a great thing for people like me, because I love it when things crash too much. Like OMI shouldn't be as cheap as it is right now. That's an amazing thing. That's not a bad thing. Some people see it as a bad thing. They're like, oh, my OMI bags are so low. And it's like, yeah, they are. And they're like, what do I do? And it's like, well, don't sell, but can you buy more? Like, why wouldn't you buy more? Well, I don't know. It's just done nothing but go down so far. We've mostly been in an altcoin bear market. Like the real bull market hasn't hit altcoins yet, especially hasn't hit the digital collectibles. Yeah, but do you know for sure it's going to happen? I don't know for sure that we're all going to wake up tomorrow. I don't know. Like all the countries could hit their nuclear bomb buttons and we don't wake up tomorrow. But I'd say the odds are really good that we all wake up tomorrow, and the odds are really good that there's an altcoin run, a massive one. And so, like, we're not betting at 100% chance that it all goes well. There's no such thing as 100% chance. It's just a really, really good odds, and I'm playing those odds. And I moved all my chips on the table. Like, I redeployed everything I made in 2021. It's all redeployed in the crypto space. Why? Because when you have odds like this, some people don't go all in. I went all in. I didn't borrow any money to put in. It's all outright capital. So I put it all in. Why? You don't see odds like this very often, where the chance of you winning are, in my opinion, way higher than 50%. And if you do win, the gains aren't doubling your money like they would be at blackjack. It's 10x, 20x, 50x, 100x. So I'm like, pushed all my chips on the table. It's like, cool. Rain, you're so risky. Well, you're right. It worked out really good for me 2018, 2019, 2020 when I did it. Everyone thought I was crazy. My wife thought I was crazy. Then 2021, they're like, you were a genius. Well, bear market, redeployed everything. We'll see how it works out. I think it's a smart bet.
Preach. When you were talking before about like how things shouldn't happen, but they do, like a bumblebee, like they shouldn't be able to fly. Like their body, their weight, it doesn't make sense, but it does. They do. They can clearly do it. It's like even like watching a plane. It's like there's no way these things can fly, and then you see these big giant things that are can carry 250,000 pounds of cargo. It's like, how does this get in the air? And it just does. And here's the thing. Like speaking of getting in the air, years ago. Now, granted, this is a failed project, and I think I know why it failed. It's like 15 years ago. A bunch of millionaires and billionaires invested into rocket ship travel. Go to Texas to Miami in like a couple of minutes. And it didn't work, but it seemed like it would be really cool. And when I started studying a little bit, part of the greatest cost and the greatest effort that it took was off the initial launch. It was the initial inertia that it had to achieve in order to get off the ground. And once it did, it was smooth sailing. And it seems very similar to a lot of what cryptos are doing right now. You have, what's his name? Ronnie is saying, like, people are buying OMI right now. They're going to miss this bull run because there's plenty of altcoins that have popped off. Well, OMI has done nada. What if I were to tell you that the bull run is not just going to last the next month, and it's not just going to last like the next 6 weeks? What if I were to tell you that things run in cycles? Even when you go specialized as far as Vivv, not all Vivv last cycle, not all Vivv's NFTs ran at the same time. You had Star Wars, you had Golden Moments run, you had Season 1 run, like they all ran at different times. And crypto is just so much bigger in general. You're going to have AI, you're going to have metaverse, you have digital collectibles, you have DeSci, you have DeFi, you have all of these different things that are going to run. And I don't want to say it doesn't matter where you start, because obviously you have a better chance of doing 1000x if you were like DEFFINITY, a couple of weeks ago when they were at 2.5 cents and they had like a $3 million market cap. Doing 1000x going to 3 billion is a lot easier than OMI doing. I don't think OMI will do 1000x. That'd be, was that 20 cents? Yeah, 20 cents. I mean, it could. You could have a bunch of different stuff. I don't want to say anything can't do anything, but most likely it won't. Most likely it'll go 3 to 5 cents. Maybe if certain things go right, maybe like 10 cents. But again, 1000x is possible. You have all of these different stuff that can go on. And shout out Mr. MC1 for the super chat saying, "Wow, Randy, just checked. I made back all of my investment with your channel in 11 months. Partially thanks to DEFFINITY." Yeah. So I don't. Mr. MC1, can you tell me, outside of crypto or Vivv, if that's the quickest, because he's a VC, if that's ever been the quickest you've ever gotten your investment back? Because a lot of VCs, they don't get their money back if at all. It's like 10 years, 10 years later.
Years.
And you got yours back in 11 months. So let me know.
Well, I want to address, I would consider this part of investing 201 class. So a lot of people, this is their thoughts in crypto. And they're not seeing the bigger picture yet. Because is what he's saying wrong? No, not fully, but he's missing the bigger picture. People buying OMI right now going to miss this bull run because plenty of altcoins have popped off while OMI has done nada. Now, is he wrong? No. Is he missing the bigger picture? Absolutely. I cover this in my Zero to Crypto Hero. That course is not for everyone because there's a price attached to it. It's specifically designed for people that do not have much time to waste and their time is very precious to them. That's who this course is for. And I go much more in depth with this. But one of the ways I played the 2018 through 2020 bear market is I diversified across multiple projects. Here's why. Because you don't know what's going to run when. And if you try to time it, good luck. The best way I've found to play the odds is you diversify across a few different narratives. And he's not wrong. The OMI's just gotten cheaper while while other things have popped off. But he's thinking about it wrong. Guess what? One of the things that I'm in went up 20x while OMI's gotten cheaper. You know what I did? I sold what had gone up 20x for more OMI. Why would I do that? Sell what's performing for what's underperforming. Well, let me share with you what I did when Axie Infinity was going really, really well. I sold Axie Infinity that was massively up for other things that hadn't gone up yet. And I was able to roll that money and amplify my gains. Why? Because overall, from the bottom of the bear market to the top, my portfolio value increased to 100x. Now, did I make 100x on all my investments? Hell no. I made 0x on a bunch of them. Why? Because they failed during the bear market. So how did I get 100x gains? Well, because of rolling. You can only do that when you're diversified. In fact, we had a mutual friend who created a show with us about OMI like 2 years ago. And he's like, I'm all in on OMI. And we're like, wait, let's have a private chat. I don't like that idea because you don't have the ability to be patient when you're only in OMI. In fact, you might be missing out on some bigger opportunities where if you diversify, because what happens if other things run before OMI? Yeah, but I believe so much in OMI. I'm just going to hold OMI. I wouldn't advise that strategy, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. Well, guess what? Didn't work out very well for them. Why? Because they didn't diversify. And then they're like, wait, other things are running and my OMI's not running. Didn't we tell you that? Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well. So am I well diversified? Yes. Why? Well, guess what? I like OMI. Do I know when it's going to go up? No. Have some other things gone up while OMI's gone cheaper? Yes. And that's a great thing. Not a bad thing. OMI's not going to miss this bull run. You are just wrong on that. And I'm going to guess you're newer to this. Now, maybe you're not. I've been doing cycle investing for 25 years, and maybe you have more experience than me in this. Cool. If you do, I still think you're wrong. But we're going to find out how it plays out. I think OMI's going to do just fine. That's why we created this dedicated show. Vivv doesn't pay us for this. In fact, I knew I would take a hit with people that are fudders. And they'd be like, Rain doesn't know what he's talking about. Why is he creating an OMI as my OMI show? Doesn't he realize OMI is dead? Oh, yes. And just keep saying that. Because we're going to find out who's right on this. And it will be me. And it will be Randy. And it will be Doctor of Stuff. Why? Because OMI's going to do just fine. And you just can't see it yet? That's fine. That's cool. We're going to know in the next year how this plays out. It's going to go just fine for OMI.
Heck yeah. Shout out to everyone in the comments. We love you all. Thank you all for being here. In this greater bull run, there's a lot of money that's going to be thrown around. And you see Hidden Road, it's a prime broker that got bought by XRP recently for $1.25 billion. And I think XRP tried to buy another company for like a couple $1 billion, and they said no, it was too small of a deal. There's going to be tens of billions of dollars thrown around this time. Again, Coinbase getting into the S&P 500. That I don't know how much their stock is going to raise from that. It's already up 23% in a day. you are going to have the potential of Veve getting acquired or at least partially acquired. I'm telling you right now, I know that they had offers last time. They said no. Now when they become a multi-billion-dollar company, maybe they might not say no. I'm not saying to the whole thing, but they might not say no to selling part of the company. Right? If you had your choice, Tesla, Apple, Google, Facebook, Disney, who would you want to invest in Veve, and why? What do you think would be the greatest benefit to us, to the greatest number of people, but specifically us?
I wish I could say Google, but I just wonder if they're not evil these days. So let's just take Google off the table. They're weird. They used to have in their thing, do no evil, and then took that out. It's like, wait, why would you change that? That's a great statement. Google, I'm watching you. I know what you did to my YouTube channel back in 2021 because I said some things that were very true, turned out to be true, but they're politically incorrect. Yes, I don't love you. So not Google. I like Disney. Look, Disney plays the political correct thing. Cool. You know, they do it somewhat responsibly. I like Disney a lot. So I'm leaning towards that. Facebook would be interesting because they're big push for metaverse. That'd be really interesting. So that might be the biggest one. Maybe I would say Facebook because kind of they already have Disney. Facebook would be probably the biggest deal there. So I'm going to say Facebook. I wish it could be Google. I just Google, like, come on. I hope I'm just all wrong on you guys, and you guys are still super well-meaning and not having weird plans. I was going to say, I know that to be the case. It probably is incorrect, but just Google, you make me doubt you. So I vote Facebook. Now, Mark Zuckerberg, he's weird too, but less weird than Google.
Agreed. Speaking of weird, I saw at the time it was Thunderbolts. Now it's called New Avengers. A couple weeks back, and I decided to say one. It was a very good movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Little too, I don't want to say like hippy dippy or whatever. It was really had a lot of mental health type of stuff, and which is fine. And then I took a look at the first appearance of Sentry on Veve, and we have it. And I already had a couple of them. I decided to go in and buy a few, and I'm actually buying a couple right now. I just bought one for $225. I'm going to buy one for $290, and then the next one is $344. Someone else can have that. And the reason why I thought it was interesting is because he's going to be one of the main characters in the next couple of Marvel movies because he's so super powerful. You're going to have Doctor Doom be a big villain. You're going to have a whole lot of Secret Wars, and he's going to be one of the main characters. And when he was on Veve, 7,500 comics that were there for him that were available. But because he was kind of born in the bear market for his comic, over 5,200 of them were burned. Now there's only 2,235 of these, and it's first appearance of a major character. And I have a very small amount. I have like 9 of them. But it's just if you're conscious of these different things, you're going to be able to take advantage of it. And I was talking to a buddy of mine that both me and Rain know, and he was saying, like, how do I get educated in Web3? And there's an episode of Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide, came on like mid-2000s, and they're talking about like how to survive like middle school, and it's like, okay, how to ace these tests, how to pass, and how to not get left back. And they took a page out of the Nerds playbook and like, okay, how are they so smart? And they just obsess over the information. They're always talking about what's going on in social studies and whoever's class, and they obsess about it. And I told him, like, I'm just obsessed with these numbers from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed, outside of the last couple of days, because my back is completely destroyed. Even when I was in the gym, in between sets, looking at the market, looking at stuff, looking at updates from Watcher Guru, like all this. And you have to pay attention to the macro. Just because you don't take an interest in politics doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you. The same with the markets. And if you are obsessed with this information, and if you're not, that's completely fine. It's probably healthier if you're not. But if you are obsessed with this information, or you're on the fence, these are the type of opportunities that'll be awarded to you. There are many people that don't believe in luck. They believe in preparedness meeting opportunity. And the more prepared you are, the more opportunities you'll get to be lucky. And I don't know what I was talking about with this. I just went on a rant.
So many people think things are lucky, right? Like, okay, so if you were born genetically beautiful, you're lucky. Well, you didn't do that. That's luck. If you were born rich, I would actually say most likely you're unlucky unless your parents were really good at teaching you, preparing you how to recognize opportunity, because a lot of rich parents don't. They actually just put their kids in boarding school and they don't pay attention to them. And the kids don't learn how to use money and they don't learn how to make those good decisions. And so like you're actually just given all this money with no ability to understand it. And so like a lot of kids born in wealthy families, it's actually not an advantage at all. It's, in my opinion, disadvantage. When you're born poor, you learn to value money because you don't have it. That is actually the bigger advantage. So you're lucky if you're born poor. You're lucky if you're born beautiful. Other than that, you create your own luck in this life. Like people are like, Rain, your wife is so beautiful. You're lucky. I didn't have natural success in high school. Like I had to learn to understand what women need from men. I had to learn how to, now some people are like, oh, Rain, you're rich. I am now, not when she met me. I was still digging out of a hole. I was worth negative $70,000 when she met me. I was driving a Toyota Avalon. That is not a chick magnet car. So it wasn't the money, it was something else. And that something else is learnable by anyone. It's not lucky. Look, did I get lucky in 2021? No. Like I did what most people thought I was crazy to do in 2018, 2019, and 2020. I loaded up on projects that everyone felt was like a burning building, and they told me I was crazy for doing it. And guess what? They were right. Some of them did fail. A bunch of them succeeded. And the ones that succeeded made me crazy money. Yeah. Cool. Was that luck? No, that was not luck. That was just playing the odds. And I played the odds across a whole bunch of different projects, and some of them failed. Some of them went up massively. You know what? I learned some lessons about which ones have even better odds of doing well. Learned some very valuable lessons so that this bear market, not near as many of my picks will have failed as they did back from 2018 through 2021. Well, I learned some very valuable lessons so that I made better bets during this bear market. And OMI is one of those bets, and I bet huge on it. OMI and Vivv combined, but I think OMI is particularly underpriced. I think a few Vivv collectibles outperform OMI. I just wish I knew exactly which ones. But I think OMI has been so punished. It's a particularly good deal that I bet heavily on OMI. Cool. Why do you think we covered this show? We could have named it Vivv. People would have been like more in love with, oh yeah, they're talking about Vivv and Vivv's cool. We specifically went to cover OMI because that's where the great deal is. Yes, we knew we'd take a lot of incoming fire from the fudders. Fantastic. Bring it on. I'm not scared of it. Most of it's like emotionally based. Oh, OMI's dead. What are you talking about? OMI won't go anywhere. I do want to shout out. I like Ronnie's answer here. Ronnie, you're the type of person that I disagree with, but I totally respect. Loved it. Love what he said here after he disagreed that OMI and Vivv are going to be successful, that maybe they'll miss the bull market. There is a chance that he's right. I think he's way wrong on this, but there's always a chance that he's right. We're just playing odds here. And you know what? Even if you have a 99% chance to win, you still might lose. I wish the best for OMI and Vivv. Vivv and OMI got me started in this space, and I completely respect that, right? So that's somebody that's just taking different bets. Maybe he likes the AI play. Maybe he likes some other plays. I think the digital collectibles play is one of the best plays in all of crypto. That's why we created this specific show, OMI is my homie. And specifically on OMI, when all the FUD was like so deep and we're like, oh yeah, doubling down on this. Sure, we could just cover Vivv, and we do cover Vivv stuff. But so many people are in love with Vivv that they're missing the opportunity with OMI. So let's cover OMI as my homie, especially because it's so unpopular. People are missing the bigger picture here. OMI is where the amazing deal is. Like Vivv is great too. The reason that, like, because Vivv is as strong as it is, and it's doing way strong for a bear market, even though people are like, oh my gosh, their revenues are down. Oh man, it's so far ahead of every one of their competitors by like light years. And that's what gives OMI its value, is because Vivv is so strong. but I think OMI goes crazy. That it goes from like everyone feels like it's a burning building to everyone's running back into the building like crazy, and OMI goes crazy. Of course, will the Vivv collectibles do well? I think so. I think so. I bought a third Grogu, you know, the cheap one that's selling for under launch price. And I'll probably pick up some more, right? I'll wait to see if they get even cheaper. I don't know why these people are selling me them for like 13 and 14 gems. What are they doing? Thank you. Thank you is all I have to say to them. Like Grogu's a big deal.
You just stopped me from buying a rare Sentry. I was looking at it and it was like $13. Like, well, there's probably like 400 of these. And I know there's 3,000 of the Grogu's. Grogu's obviously more popular than Sentries. Like I can get a rare Sentry comic, but I could get a Grogu and I don't know what to do. I should probably just buy both, but I'm glad that you mentioned odds.
Both.
As somebody that has counted cards for his entire adult life, I can tell you that you can mathematically make the right choice and have like a 60-80% chance of making it. But sometimes the odds, even though they're stacked in your favor, they just don't work out.
Yeah.
That being said, I read a post the other day from BCW Comic Books and BCW Comic Book Bags and Bow Cards being hit with 150% tariffs. And they said that on behalf of the book bags, boards, and boxes manufacturer, BCW Lunar Distributions has told comic book retailers in the U.S. the sad news. Until now, all BCW pricing has remained consistent as it was purchased by Lunar without any tariff surcharges. However, our most recent BCW order is now being impacted by the tariff surcharge. And in a nice way, they said, we're going to pass that charge off to the healthy consumer, to you, because they don't want it to affect their bottom line. And when you're talking about odds, I know that, again, I just said the odds are stacked in your favor sometimes and you can still lose anyway. But when you have Vivv that have just, Vivv Comics is so stupid undervalued. And Mr. MC1 posted the other day, I don't know if he was having a couple daddy sodas when he said this. I think Crypto Cosmo was on my like 8-hour stream. He had said that he hasn't been this excited since he knew about Vivv Comics. So I don't know what's coming. Clearly it's something that's close to that. And I think that's one of the most undervalued things that they have, because again, 34,000 signups on there. You have the creator of John Wick had a thing called Death Planet the other day. It was the only comic from the Vivv Comics that had more than 1,000 mints. It had 2,025. It had sold out. And again, just the odds of Vivv being successful, even if they do miss this bull run. And I get it. And again, just look at VCs. I know people in crypto, they want things now. They want things done yesterday. Fine, that's your prerogative. You're entitled to that as long as you're made a woman. However, if you come from traditional finance and you're thinking several years or decades out, even if Vivv misses this bull run, which I doubt they do, I'm sure they're a part of it, but they're not going to miss it forever. Like, this is the future, whether you like it or not. In Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, King Theoden tells Aragorn that he will not call for Gondor to hell. He will not risk open war. And Aragorn says, like, open war is upon you, whether you would risk it or not. It doesn't matter if you believe that this is going to happen or not. It's going to happen, whether you believe in it or not. And I feel like I've gone on this tangent again. There's been a stream for tangents. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's funny. Shout out to Sanjay, right? Sanjay is such a stud. I'm headed to Lisbon in June to mainly chat with David, Dan, Dr. Profit on what we can do all together to make OMI next level in terms of utility. That would be amazing. Part of the reason the Vivv logos have done so well, the gold and silver logos, because Sanjay talked to the team about adding like some additional value in there. And boy, did he hit a home run with that. Like, Sanjay is brilliant at this. Like, not just smart, but brilliant level. That would be amazing if they found ways to give it even more utility. Like, I think OMI is going to do really well anyway. I've only been pricing in what I think it's going to do anyway. That would amplify what it's going to do. And Sanjay's really good at this stuff. Like, really good community ideas. See, look who Vivv can attract. Like, some people are like, oh, is Vivv going to make it? Okay. I've met Dr. Profit, was able to have lunch with him a couple of times in New York. It was amazing. I'm like, this guy is brilliant. And he believes in what David is doing so much. He's putting all this money investment to run something parallel to Vivv, and he's a really smart guy. Then yet, people who are brand new at investing, they've been in crypto for 2 years, like, oh, OMI sucks, Vivv sucks. Okay, whatever. Being able to attract people like Dr. Profit and Sanjay and other people have been around business for a very long time. And they know when preparation meets opportunity, right? Like Vivv and this idea of digital collectibles. Like there was this big argument 15 years ago about this idea of digital gold and like, oh my gosh, digital gold is going to be like, instead of having gold, you could have this thing called Bitcoin. And people are like, you're just stupid. It's never going to happen. And that argument's now been won. The digital collectibles argument hasn't been won yet. Most people are unaware of that argument, but it will be won. And Vivv is the premier player in that space because in many ways, digital collectibles are superior to physical collectibles. And that's not arguable. Like, how's the marketplace for physical collectibles? It sucks. Can you ship to Venezuela? No, you can't ship to Venezuela. It will get confiscated. So Venezuela is off the buy list. Guess what? Many countries are off the buy list. Russia is not going to buy your physical collectible. Why? Because it probably won't make it in the mail. And so digital collectibles in Russia, they can buy it. In Venezuela, they can buy it. They just have to be able to have a Vivv login, be able to get money into it. And now actually they can just buy it off of Stacker. And so like you have an instantaneous marketplace to anywhere in the world. It's amazing. And you don't even have to know the buyer. You just put it on, put the price, and it can sell like that. Like that is superior to what physical collectibles can do. And it's the legit project because cryptographical encryption has made it that you can only buy the legit stuff on Stacker and Vivv's marketplace. So you don't have to worry about buying an illegitimate product. That's superior. People just haven't realized it yet. The fact that you can put these stuffs in augmented reality and later people will be able to socially flex this stuff in ways people can't imagine now is kind of like how those roads later came together where the Walmart was being built. Yeah, way down the road, you can now picture it on. It's like, oh, that was a really big deal. Why didn't I buy that for $30,000? Well, right now is your opportunity to buy at the burning building prices. And most people will pass it up. That's cool. Pass it up. But there's a reason why Sanjay is interested in a company like Vivv and helping them and doing things and putting his own money behind it. There's a reason why Dr. Profit gets it and is doing this. There's a reason why other whales that we talk to, like massive whales that we talk to, if they have a chance to talk to like Dan and David, like they're like, oh my gosh, this is the, how do I deploy 100,000 in this? How do I put in 500,000? How do I put in $1 million? Because they get it, because they've been around and they know what great opportunity looks like. And when they get all the information and if they get a time to talk to someone like David and what David's vision is, they're like, this is exactly what opportunity smells like. And then some people want to try to argue with us on this. It's like, cool. We'll see. We're definitely not going to waste our time with arguing with you.
Speaking to Sanjay, if you could put up his most recent comment about the addiction logo. It was on like my 8-hour stream the other day, and I don't know, he didn't text it to me. He was just like on the streams like, hey Randy, you should pick up an addiction comic. There's only 20 something of these, or not the addiction comic, the addiction gold logo would just airdrop. There's only 20 something of these. People are selling them real cheap, $200 something. It's like that's like $1 million OMI. And he's like, you know what? I'll pay half. I was like, okay, that fair. All right, you want me to get it? It's got to be for a reason. You're willing to pay half. All right, let me load up some gems here. And as I'm loading up the gems, it goes from like 215 to like 540, and I was like, Sanjay, I'm not. I can't. And then he's like, oh shoot. I was like, yeah, I probably should have just texted me. And then I check now, and it's $750 now. So congrats to whoever got that, because there is not a lot of them. You get special access to that addiction Discord. I'm guessing you're going to get some certain stuff because of it. We might do something like that for daCAT when that comic comes out. But yeah, good times. And for anyone that says like, Chavez, you're in a pump and dump group. Clearly, I'm not. If there was a pump and dump group, Mr. MC1 would have gone on and texted that pump, but there's not. He said it everywhere. So anyway, just throwing that out there. But yeah, I know, Mr. MC. I could have picked it up. No, it's okay, Mr. I don't need one. It's fine. It's this is a community thing. It's out there, and for them.
Mrs. Rain was nice enough to send me in with some of her lasagna and some other little treats.
Let's what else you got to go over before we end it, and then we'll let you have it, and we'll talk off camera while you enjoy the dinner.
Well, great call on the Century Comics. I hadn't even thought about that. I only had a limited time, and I was near a movie theater. I was like, oh, let me see if they're like playing that movie. And I was like, oh, so I missed the very, very beginning, and I missed like the last 20 or 30 minutes. But I was like, oh, not bad. Fun, low key, cool. Like I had lowered expectations, so it was fun and likable. But yeah, Century, like these Vivv comics are a really big deal. Most of the money that I've been putting into Vivv stuff has been on the comic side, except for I think Grogu's going to be another one of those big deals. I love Darth Vader. I love Boba Fett. And Grogu's going to be a long-term favorite of many people.
Heck yeah, same. I might do a video about some of the stuff I talked about here tonight, if I can remember what it was. That's just like the unfortunate thing about some of these streams. Sometimes you get some nuggets and they're just lost forever. But guys, even if you can't remember some of the things that I said, just remember how it made you feel. Remember the essence of it. And I understand, like, and there's going to be, I think, one more sell-off of OMI because of the fact that it's probably not going to run first in this alt season.
Yes.
It might, but last time it kind of ran last. Even if it doesn't happen the same way and it doesn't run last, I think the odds are against it that it runs first.
Vivv ran last. OMI didn't run last. OMI ran with a lot of other things. But you're right that probably what usually happens is Bitcoin takes off. And then you have some people like, no, stupid OMI, I hate you. I could have been in Bitcoin and I could have made 50% gain. So they sell their OMI at like a bigger loss. And they roll it in there chasing the Bitcoin gains. And then maybe they get some upside. Probably they'll forget to take profits. And then they'll miss, like they'll look at OMI when they hear some main channel covering it, and OMI's up like 30x. And they'll be like, freaking OMI, it's all their fault. No, it's just how things run. Bitcoin usually runs first. Sometimes some alts run with it. I found it just like to take my position in alts because like last time I tried the play of I'm going to keep half in Bitcoin and half in these alts. But one of the massive alts I would have put it into ran at the same time Bitcoin did, and it made like 12 or 13x at the same time Bitcoin did like a 2x or 3x. And I was like, oh, why didn't I just have the capital deployed in the alts? So this time I made it just a strategic position to be okay if Bitcoin runs ahead of other things, because when you miss it with the alts, you miss it. Like they run so fast that like when it's already up 20x, is it worth buying? Maybe, but you realize that the people who got it and it's now up 20x, that when you then get in, when you're up 5x, they're at 100x. Like they made so much more gains than you by a ton. So I just rather take strategic positions in a few different things. That way, if some run ahead of it, and something goes up 30x and say OMI's still down, you better believe I'm going to buy a lot more OMI. If I can take a 30x, roll it into OMI, and OMI does 100x, well, that's 3,000x on that money. Cool. Amazing.
Preach. Agreed. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for putting up the antics that I have and all the crash outs. I'm only serious. I love you guys. Everyone, please say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you. And shout out to my co-host Crypto Rain, and we would love to have Dr. Stuff.
Yeah, Randy, and get better. I don't know if 8 hours per day streaming is doing your back any favors, but get better, because I know there's a lot of ladies out there that like need their Randy addiction in their life. So
yeah, I have to stop with the ladies for a good couple weeks while it heals. But
we'll see y'all.